Alrighty, so we're entering in now for week 14, and so we're going to look at some cultural possible playoff scenarios as week 14 had, or heading into week 14. That was a heck of a year, I'll say that though. Well, of regular season. Now we got a glimpse of some things as we saw that Florida State is very unstable without their quarterback, whoever his name is, but it's going to be interesting now. We saw Alabama barely make it against Auburn. I'm honestly shocked that they made that, and that was insane. They had a 99% chance to lose in there, and that they made it. That's pretty good. And then we saw Michigan beat up on Ohio State. Now I didn't get to watch that game really. I saw some highlights because I was watching the Kentucky Louisville game because I'm a Kentucky fan. But that's what I saw. But overall, crazy week though. Alrighty, so as we look at some of the possible scenarios, now this is not scenario one, but this is right now what I think heading into week 14, what the playoff rankings will be like, most likely, as I think they'll have Georgia number one, still Michigan number two, three, Washington, four, Florida State. I think they drop Ohio State to number six, Oregon number five, or they might have Ohio State above Oregon. I don't know. I don't see them doing that. I could see them doing that, but I think most likely that they're going to have Oregon above Ohio State at this point. It just seems like the more logical thing here. And so then that will be, yeah. So without Jordan Travis, though, Florida State's in a bit of a pickle here. I think then, number seven, and then I think the rest follow suit. Texas, number 7, 8, Alabama, 9, Missouri, 10, Penn State, then 11, Ole Miss, and 12, Oklahoma, with Louisville losing that to Kentucky. Now, this right here, scenario number one, I think the most likely one here is we have Georgia beating Bama, Michigan winning in the Big Ten championship. Then we have Oregon here winning against Washington, Florida State winning too. Now, if we look here, another screen I have. I'm looking at the cultural power index right now. If we look here, Oregon's right now FBI power is at a 25.6, and they're third right now. And Florida State's is at rank 9. Now we look at a resume. You probably think Oregon is kind of lower on resume though. But then a win against Washington would be big, and I think the playoff committee can see that Florida State, has Jordan Travis out, and I think Oregon would just look like to have the better resume at the end of the year to be above Florida State, and I think that's what it would be. Now, in this, Texas would not get in. Of course, could the playoff committee, if let's say this Florida State struggles against Louisville, could the playoff committee possibly put Texas in above Florida State? I don't see that happen, but you never know. And this is the second most scenario. It's just everything. It's just Washington is the win, and you have 3 or 4 undefeated teams in the playoffs, which would be pretty big. I don't think that's ever happened. And yeah, Texas would miss out and so forth. Now this scenario is pretty straightforward. Everyone just wins out. Now if we go here, let's look at scenario number 3. This is Texas gets in. Now Texas needs some things to happen here. Georgia must win against Alabama. Michigan wins. Oregon wins against Washington, or it could be either way. But they need Florida State to lose to Louisville, which I don't. Louisville can beat Florida State. They have the off. Louisville right now. Louisville can do it. It's not like if Florida State's going to struggle that much, they might as well, And also technical difficulty there. It looks like I had Oregon for Florida State. Don't mind that. Yeah, but so that's what it would probably be. And now scenario number 4 is Georgia loses. Now, they could. This would be a tricky one here. So Oregon wins 2. So Michigan's number 1. Number 2 is Oregon. I would think they put Oregon above Bama. And then they put Bama number 3 and Florida State number 4. Yeah, Bama would be above Florida State. Florida State with Jordan Travis out is going to be that number 4 seed that they're in. Under no circumstances are they a number 3 seed at this point. Just everything about them right now is not looking good. Then Georgia's number 5, or Ohio State's number 6. Now, scenario point 4.5, maybe they put Georgia in over Florida State with Jordan Travis being out. I think that could be a possible scenario where they do that and have two SEC teams. And again, we have Michigan taking on Georgia and Oregon and Alabama, that would not be the worst playoff scenario here. And you can look on the side of other rankings too. And now here's an Ohio State scenario right here for the Buckeyes to get in. They need Georgia to win. Obviously, it's Bama. Oregon or Washington doesn't matter, but they need this to happen. Oklahoma State to beat Texas. And then they need also Florida State to lose to Louisville. Now, Louisville, as I said, I went over it. Louisville can win. Now, if you look at Texas and Oklahoma State, they're a weird team now. In FPI, their FPI ranking is not good at all. But they were able to beat Oklahoma. Now, I know that is a rivalry game. It feels like Oklahoma State is a team that's good when they need to be, but then they aren't whenever they don't need to be. And it kind of seems like the case because they struggle against BYU. But when they need to, they can win. It's weird. I think Oklahoma State can win this, but I don't see it happening. But if it does, it wouldn't shock me if they did. It's that kind of game. But Ohio State needs that to happen. They need Bama to lose. And if this happens, then you got Georgia number 1, 2 Michigan, 3 Oregon, 4 Ohio State. Then you got 5 Washington, 6 Florida State, number 7 Missouri, 8 Alabama, 9 Texas, 10 Penn State, 11 Ole Miss, and 12 Oklahoma. I think that would be what you have there. And that's what Ohio State needs if they need to get in the playoffs. Now, with that being said, let's go back to what the current rankings are most likely. This will be an interesting one. As you know, we got 3 and 5 possibly playing each other, and then 1 and 8. I think at this point right now, I just don't see Washington winning it against Oregon. We've seen, if we look at the current lines right now though for the game, last time I checked, the line for Washington and Oregon was it was a big lead of some sort. Yeah, the line right now is Oregon by 9.5. Right now, that will change though with time. Texas on the line by 14 points. Georgia on the line by 5. Michigan on the line by 23, and FSU by the line on 3. So that's what we have in store there. And also, one real quick, Mark Stoops almost got hired at Texas A&M, but looks like they'll get Mike Ello to go from coach from Duke to go to Texas A&M after Texas A&M fans not want Mark Stoops, which, oh boy, that's to say that right there is kind of big for Kentucky at least. That would have been not good for the program, but yeah, we saw Michigan also survive without Jim Harbaugh. So this will be an interesting week 14 conference championships, and I'll keep you all posted. And make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this kind of content.